to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
All right, it is 11:03. Welcome to the Lock Shop. Thank you very much for being here today. Huss is on a fishing trip all week, and Glue Guy's just back from vacation, so he's going to be with us on the Lock Shop for a few days this week. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. You're just back. You didn't do any fishing on your vacation, did you?
No fishing.
Just
boating,
relaxing.
Relaxing, tubing.
Did you jump off a boat into a lake?
Several times.
Really? From the up high?
Well, we had on the second day. So my brother-in-law has a place out in Sycamoose.
Okay.
And for the girl's birthday gift, as a collective gift from him and from Uncle John and Auntie Faye, they rented boats both days. He used to have a boat, doesn't have a boat anymore. But he rented this. The second day was a pontoon with an upper deck.
Yes.
And it had a water slide.
So you just rent that for one day?
We had a speed kind of more boat the first day, a pontoon with an upper deck the second day.
Nice.
And I was jumping off top deck.
See, now that would be fun.
Yeah.
Because it's not too high, but it's high enough that there's a little bit of a rush.
We figured
there.
it's about 14 feet.
Okay, that's good.
To the water.
Yeah.
And it was enough to make you think about it. Mm-hmm. But then when you do it.
Once you do it once and you realize you're not going to die, you do it so many times. Yeah.
And the girls were, it was a fantastic.
Were they all
trip.
Jumping off the top too?
They weren't. They were on the water slide.
Yeah.
A bit, but there was alongside the lake. It was Mara Lake. There's like rope swings and stuff that people have built that you can just go and pull.
Was
up
it
to.
Busy?
No, I mean it's such a huge place that it's not like you're going to Sylvan Lake or something where there's boats everywhere and you're fighting traffic. You could find spots wherever you want.
I always imagine the shoe shops being like in Ozarks.
Yeah,
you watch Ozark,
like
same type of thing, laundering money and stuff.
Yeah,
is that what your brother-in-law does?
Yes, yes. I shouldn't say that, or I guess I shouldn't. But no, he doesn't. No, I don't know.
See, if you said he did, nobody would believe you because who would admit that?
That's right. Who would admit that?
Have to worry about
who would
that.
admit that guilt? I don't think, though, judging by just the brief time I spent in Sycamoose, that it's much of a laundering of money place.
I don't know. It sounds like this rental of the pontoon could have been something sketchy.
Well, maybe there was some sort of exchange made. I'm not sure, but they did have this place called the Dutchman Dairy.
Okay,
it's this dairy farm, and they make
a Dutchman owns it.
A Dutchman,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
and he has a dairy, and they have the best ice cream there,
straight from the teat.
Yes, they milk it into the cone or waffle cone,
and then they freeze it quickly.
I don't know how it comes out frozen or hard, but it's magic. So we went there a few days as well. But
you went to the dairy multiple times for ice cream.
My daughter,
ice cream place.
They just loved it.
Yeah,
couldn't get enough.
Oh, that sounds like a nice. That sounds like
it was
a nice
great
trip.
vacation. I declared it actually.
Yeah.
I declared it as the finest Milne getaway ever.
No way.
As a family.
That's like when I declared last Christmas the greatest Nielson family Christmas ever.
Because you were around.
We were around. We had 10 days back in Cranbrook. It was great.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I declared it.
Wow, what a year.
What a year.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Dusty. In my former life, running a furniture store, and my wife said it later in the trip, like the last day, she's like, it's funny, like you would normally be on your phone the whole time.
Yes.
I didn't even bring my laptop.
Wow.
And my phone
just got away.
My phone didn't ring unless it was some jagoff that was trying to, sell me something, or, there's crack calls and I just realized it. I was like, yeah. Because I would have had salespeople calling me and this and
what can we do on this couch?
Yeah. How's the lowest, Anyway, so I didn't realize it, but that I definitely let it.
Well, that helps leading to best vacation ever.
Had to be.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, that sounds good.
I was footloose and fancy free.
Yeah, no, that's nice. That's terrific. All right, it is the Lock Shop. We're brought to you by Play Alberta. If you haven't used this month's code for the month of July, it's just EST Sports once again. It's been reloaded. You can use it once per month. $20 will get you 50, and EST Casino $20 will get you 50. And if you haven't used that original code yet, it's still going. Deposit 5, get 50. Use the code YAG50 when you do that. Go ahead.
Bones in the inbox says, if Huss disappears on a fishing trip, Jay's band has to write a song.
Did people try to get the band back together?
Oh, yeah. they've been asking.
Are all band members still alive?
Yes,
Okay.
alive and well.
It's a weird question to ask, but with bands, people die and stuff.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
Because I put together a little off-topic topic today for William Huff on the
Okay.
Reed Wilkins Show.
You and
Reed's off
Tommy,
today.
right?
Tommy and I. So Tommy's going to be my co-pilot. And it's going to be a music-based off-topic topic because Oasis reunited over the weekend for the first time in 16 years.
Really?
The two brothers were on stage together. So it's going to be something related to
Okay.
that. And it has to do a lot with dead band members.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. That's
Which
gonna,
dead band would you bring back? Maybe?
Yeah.
And then play with another dead band.
And maybe
Hey,
it
there's
could be a
lots of
dead
things you
band
could do.
festival.
Yeah.
That would be a great festival.
I saw Reed Wilkins last night.
Did you?
Yeah, so I'm in the booth. It's like 5 minutes before the game. I'm standing up there, and I just sort of look it out, and then I look down to like the walkway right in front of the booth, and there's Reed just standing there with his mom and dad, and he's waiting for me. I look down, and I see him. I go, oh, hey, and he blows me a kiss, but he blows it like really good. He goes. Oh. And then I turned, and instead of just catching it regularly and putting it in my cheek, I caught it like a receiver. I turned and I grabbed it like this.
Good.
And then he was with his parents last night. Big win for the
Huge win
for the local football club. Great post game. Listen to most of it on the way home. Why is Iwanek so happy today?
I don't know. I'm concerned.
It scares me.
I think here's what I think. He did have a great night last night because it was a fun game to watch. It was a great post game. But I think the key to his happiness lies in the fact that I think he's pretty well planned for tomorrow's
For the
big
golf tournament,
event.
yeah.
Because you know as well as I, you know more, that stuff can be stressful for him.
Oh, yeah.
He's ahead of it. He's already been stashing stuff over at the new office.
Yeah, he's loving hiding stuff in the new office.
Which is great. He doesn't have to worry about any dickheads here taking it or running off with it. He's very well put together. So I think he's feeling a little bit of a high of being prepared.
He came over to us and said, have a great show. Yeah. I was like, what?
You and I looked
He
at
said
each
it to
other
both
like,
of us. Yeah, it was really weird. So good news is that the golf tournament is obviously really, really ready to go. So that's nice. It's going to be a beautiful day yesterday. So thank you to Josh Clausen for that.
31 degrees.
31?
Yes.
Oh my God.
The hottest day of the week.
Tommy's going to be crying for the entire afternoon.
I'm going to have to take him home with me tonight so he doesn't go out tonight.
All right. So what did tell me what I didn't say or on the, I thought I had a good broadcast.
Dustin, it was an exceptional broadcast.
But
here's what happened. So Frankie Griffin takes the strip sacks Trey Ford on the 2-yard line. They go and they recover it in the end zone. The question originally was, okay, was he in a throwing motion, tuck rule kind of play? Well, then they came back and established, but during the replay of that, Maddie and I are sitting here, and you could clearly see it was hands to the face, roughing the passer.
I know.
Okay, you did know.
I did know.
But you didn't. So here's how it goes. Then they come back, and Dustin said, Killam's got his challenge flag out. He looks like he's going to be challenging this and you stop, and you say something else.
Yes.
So my question to you was, why were you handcuffed in that situation? Why can't you speak freely? Because you nailed it.
Well,
you were right.
Yeah,
you were thinking what everybody else was thinking.
I didn't want to jump the gun while the command center, the replay center was still reviewing the original thing. But I knew first time I saw the replay, I was like, oh, this is definitely.
And Maddie and I are sitting here, say it, Dusty, say it.
No, I knew it. And then after, I was just like, okay, I said, this is what I was talking about when, I said, I think he's challenging for something else, which he was, because he's standing there. I'm like, you're not challenging for any of that because it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Andre Proulx is a bit of a mess.
It's dynamic.
I mean, he comes out, he goes, the quarterback was down. And on the broadcast, I was like, no, that's not right.
It can't be.
The quarterback clearly wasn't down. So I was pretty certain he was going to challenge for a clear roughing the passer, but I didn't want to make things more convoluted than they already were, trying to sort out, is it a touchdown?
Sure.
Do they get the ball? Because I knew that after they did that announcement, then we get into the challenge. But the moment I saw it, I was like, well, this is clearly pass interference or roughing the passer. Yeah.
So maybe, and that's exactly why I'm not on the TSN broadcast doing play-by-play successfully like you have been. But wouldn't it be kind of badass to call it as you saw it and say, no, I'm hitching my horse to this. I know this is, I've seen enough football. I'm going to be the guy that steps out and says, no, folks. Here's what's going to
It's a
happen.
good question. I guess I could have done that.
Because even if you're wrong, you say, well, I'm wrong. Nobody remembers that.
Yeah,
But if
I
you're
mean,
right,
that's a good
if
point.
you're right, which you would have been, it's like, man, that Dustin Nielson sure knows his football.
Yeah, I know. I was a little. I knew it.
We know you knew it.
Yeah, with
you
the
were
way I
saying
said it, I was like,
no,
I think they're going to challenge for something else here. Yeah, I don't know why. I just felt like, I don't know. I don't know if it would be one, like, I didn't want to be grandstanding on the officials and be like, you're reviewing all the wrong stuff. This is clearly, if that would have been called originally, then none of this would have,
Well, that's
so
why
I didn't
I'm
want to be
saying
that
you're
guy.
the professional at it. Which, I would have opened my mouth way too much.
But you know what? I am frustrated by, and this is something that Suits and I have talked a little bit about off the air, in that I think a couple of weeks ago, there was a horse collar tackle a couple of weeks ago. Can't remember the game. One of those ones in Regina. I think it was the Regina game last week. And there was no penalty made there was no call on the play. And then we showed the replay a couple of times. And then before the snap, replay center messaged the official and said, hey, that was actually a horse collar. It's a penalty. So if the replay center can step in that spot, why can the replay center, as they're reviewing that challenge, go, actually, this is a pass interference. We're going to call pass interference. So instead, Killam had to use his challenge.
It's a great point.
So I hate the fact that the replay center can step in pretty much whenever to correct a call, but they don't do it all the time. So
I didn't
to
even
me,
think
you'd
of that.
you'd rather do it not at all, or have them basically officiate from a booth somewhere else. Because I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they'll look at it and they'll message down and be like, it's roughing the passer. But in this situation, they didn't. And then Killam had to use a challenge for what was a clear roughing the passer penalty. So
I think that the league knew that Killam was going to be challenging that as pass interference and let it play out the way it did. After review, it was a, fumble down by contact because they knew it was a null play anyways, that the Elks were going to be marching 15 yards the other way with the ball.
Yeah.
So
huge swing in the game, though.
Huge.
I mean, they got it all right when it was all said and done. I mean,
They did.
The ball was out. It would have been Ottawa ball on the 3, and then they challenged and they got the proper pass there. But it took a little while.
You know what they didn't get right, Dusty? And
the officials?
Yeah, you're gonna laugh at this because I could hear it in your voice. It's so funny and interesting listening to you call a game, knowing that I know exactly what's going through your head. But sometimes you can't always go and dive in as much as an armchair quarterback could, like Matt and myself. The first drive of the game, the Elks go for it on third and short. They did not get.
I was a little
down.
surprised by that spot.
We saw the spot come in from the far side because the camera, I don't know what that ref was thinking. They weren't even sniffing at that first down. And then they measure it and they get it by 2 inches.
Just enough, yeah.
That was funny because I know you and Suits were thinking, geez, because think of how much that would have changed the momentum.
Oh, that would have been massive.
Right? Instead, they go down and
score.
Justin Rankin rips off a nice screenplay for a touchdown and it's 7-0.
Yeah, it's like that every game, though. Like, there's every game, there's one or two things where I'm just like, even the one pass interference last night, I was like, little tic-tacky, but I mean, what do you do?
How about that? And this one came up, Dustin Nielson. Can you talk about the penalty on Cordell Jackson? Why do they keep implanting more and more rules for offensive players?
Oh, yeah. You know what? We had Cordell on today, and
me.
somebody was like, asking about the penalty, and I was like, wait a second, what penalty? But yes, Geno Lewis makes a catch.
Where he came in.
And they basically have put in a rule this year that if the offensive player doesn't have time to establish himself properly and you go low on him, it's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, but if you go high on him, you're going to get called on a penalty too. Because you're going to get
they're trying to
head to head or
I mean, there was a few the BC game a couple weeks ago. There's a few heavy hits on receivers. I don't know, what was it like when you played? Like that play that
fun.
Cordell Jackson made?
Oh, all of it was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I played.
It was
in
a
the
little
early
bit different
2000s.
back then. Yeah,
you were told to hit as hard as you can with the center of your forehead and put it and try hurt people.
Yeah,
but then you look at that Arkell Smith play later in the game.
He got hammered there
where he was defenseless. He didn't
that
see
was
that
because
coming.
the guy didn't come in low.
I know, but it's like, what are we doing here? Are we trying to protect heads or knees? Take your choice.
I think both.
Good luck.
Hit him in the torso.
Hit him right in the butt.
Hit him in the torso. Well, who was Justin Hardy got popped right in the back on the one.
Yeah,
kind of got folded up a bit.
Well, and that's the alternative
too. Yeah,
it's where else are you going to hit?
Yeah, you got to hit
your back.
somewhere on the jersey, I guess. Right. So, Yeah, I mean, I think the play, like the Cordell Jack, that's a penalty now.
It is.
But I think I'd be okay with that not being a penalty.
Yeah,
in the game,
I understand it's a rule and you have to follow that. But I don't like that rule.
We'll continue with the game. We'll recap the weekend. You guys did hit the big bet, and Maddie said it was, maybe that's why he's so happy. Maybe he cashed it.
That's what it is.
He said, he goes,
Play Alberta put the money.
No sweater.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Because, Dunbar needed 4 receptions. He had that by the second quarter, I think. Trey Ford had 2 passing touchdowns in the first quarter. So all it was that we needed.
It was over 21.5 points, and they had that right away.
They had that right away. All we needed was the money line. So then, this is funny. Matt starts talking about it. He's
about
like,
how he's already won?
Yes.
Oh, no.
I'm like, you shut your mouth.
Can't do that.
So then, next thing you know, it's 22-15. We're thinking, here we go. These guys are going to let this one off the hook. But credit to that team, Dusty, because I said it on the post-game show last night. I don't know if last year's Elks at this stage of the season would have been able to fight off the Red Blacks when they pushed back and still come out on top and get the 39-33 win. I just, you look at this team from week 1, week 2, week 3, now last night, week 4, and you look at the improvements. They gave up a game against Winnipeg where they were up 23-20 going into the fourth quarter. They lost that game 36-23.
Yeah.
That could have happened last night. But I think this is a sign of a team that's learning how to win. Last year, this team it could only find ways to lose in dramatic fashion.
Well, that's why right before that final kick, I was like, I've seen this team lose in a lot of strange ways over the last 4 years.
Yeah, and the same thing. Maddie's saying the game's over.
Yeah.
Like, just a short kick. But, hey.
And you know what? Mathis went up and got it. But there was a Red Black in front of him, and Justin Hardy was right behind him. And that was it. Yeah. It was 2 guys on Mathis. If that first guy could have somehow deflected it over Mathis, which is tough because he's 6'7", Justin Hardy would have been gone.
Yeah.
I would have had a seizure on the way to the end zone. Like, Susan, I would have been like, Hardy's got it all. Yeah, just down and out.
That would have been an all-time call.
God.
Well, credit to Mathis again, right? That's what your spot. That's what you're there to do. I was on him earlier in the year when he didn't fight back for that deep shot that should have been a touchdown, turned into an interception. But that's a team that's learning things. They're learning how to win. Zach Mathis going up and getting that ball at a critical point in the game.
Yeah.
That was a big play.
All right. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. As Big Uke says, if Mathis doesn't make that catch, Ottawa scores. And they would have, because nobody else was even close to Justin Hardy. And Hardy's extremely quick. So that's terrific. Just an amazing weekend in the Canadian Football League, because we had this Stampede Bowl on Thursday, and Calgary spanks Winnipeg, which just doesn't happen. And
right.
To me, it sort of changes the landscape of the West right now. Then we give away $1 million with Save On Foods for 2 kick return touchdowns on Friday night. And then Saturday, Sean White has a walk-off winner with no time left on the clock. And then yesterday, 39-36, so 75 combined points, 2 punt returns in the same quarter, and then other huge plays in that football game as well. It was just an amazing weekend, man. It was incredible weekend.
Let's not talk about our specials that were up at Play Alberta, like the Lock Shop.
Yeah,
parlay,
the Lock Shop one hit.
BC money line, Edmonton money line. I was on that hard. Yeah. And then Maddie and Jay's play of the game.
Yeah.
That hit plus 385. So that's what happened. That's why Matt's so excited, because his account got fulfilled.
My account's flusher now than it was at the beginning of the CFL weekend. But it was doing pretty well last weekend. So I put a bigger bet on a 4-gamer, and the one that cost me was Winnipeg. I hit the other 3. It would have been, we were talking close to $2,000 if I won that one. And
really?
the Bombers are getting pumped. And I'm sitting there calling that game Thursday, knowing that my big ticket was getting blown up. I was just so angry at the Bombers for playing the way that they did in that game.
I went pretty straightforward. Like, I was on the
all 4
line.
dogs won outright this week.
Yeah, I was on BC hard on my own.
Yeah.
So aside from that, and so when they got the pass and the clock run out, right, and then Sean White struts on the field, I'm like, wait, how is he coming on to kick this field goal? There's no time left. Like, what a bad way. Now, that's a good question, Dusty. If he goes to the ground I forget which receiver it was for BC. If he goes to the ground and nobody's touching him, does that clock run out, or is he giving himself up?
As soon as you give yourself up,
okay,
they'll actually blow it down.
Okay,
because they show the other clock, like we have like our fancy game clock on the bug.
Because it didn't happen last night.
Clock.
Pimpleton caught a catch and he was down, but then nobody touched him and he got up and started running again, and they didn't whistle it.
Which one was that on? Was that down near the end zone?
Yeah, I was down near the Edmonton.
I think they did whistle it. Though.
Did they?
I think they did whistle it. But that one's different because he didn't give himself up. He like went down to catch it and then tried to pop back up though.
I think once he realized that the whistle didn't go, he got up.
In the end, it doesn't matter because it got Sean White a field goal attempt and you ended up winning outright.
I was very happy about it. Yeah. I was very happy. And then the melee that happened after. What do you think's going to happen with that?
I don't know. That was, there's got to be some, Adiemi Berglund and,
because it was not even a dressed player for Montreal that started that. It was a player that was in street clothes.
There was another guy there too. Yeah, that has to be a suspension. That can't just be a fine. Like the guys who started that's got to be. It would be Torre was playing, Adiemi Berglund was playing, and then the one guy who wasn't playing. They all have to be suspended.
Well, like LTE said in the hangout, I think they should just suspend the entire BC defense for at least one game.
Just get rid of all of them.
Blanket.
Yeah, that would be big for Edmonton. So there was over 16,000 there yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you think next Sunday, same time, BC in town, is it over 18,000?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I think that, and you've heard it, we've all heard it, this fandom, the Elks Nation, just want wins.
Yeah.
That's it. So save the rest of the discussion for another time.
They got to win now.
They got to win, and they have been improving game over game. This game now is very meaningful. Talk about the West Division. And you could be tied now, with BC and 2 points behind Calgary because of the 3-week or the 3-team bye coming up. You could be right in the mix with a win against BC, and you could save the season series with a win. So this is a huge game. All things, weather's good. Let's say it's a nice evening. I said last night you could hope to push for 20,000.
Yeah.
But Maddie looked on Ticketmaster and there wasn't that many tickets available. So I think the Elks are going to have to pump that up and release a bunch more tickets here.
Oh, okay.
As the week goes along.
For this upcoming game?
Yeah, for Sunday night.
Oh,
yeah.
So it's already moving pretty good.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's a positive.
16,000 last night. That was
it filled up. It filled up rather nicely last night. Like at the beginning, I was like, that was like 10 minutes before kickoff. I was like, oh, where is everybody? But then by the time things kicked off really in the first quarter, like the side that we don't have on the TV, because we shoot it from the side that's more full.
From your side.
From the TV booth side. Yeah. There's more people on that side. And we're shooting across, so we're shooting to the side that's not as full, which doesn't look great. Like if you're watching on TV, the side that's not being shot is actually quite a bit more full than the other side. But look, if they can pick up a win against BC, go to 2-3, start to get some buzz around the city. Maybe they do top 20,000 a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's like, I remember when there were 35 to 40,000 people there all the time. But what a weirdo. You better have that tomorrow morning, buddy. Yeah, it's on.
Special.
That's one way to describe them. But to me, if you can churn out over 20,000,
that's great.
Like that's a good number.
What's the league average, Dusty?
That's a good question. I mean, somewhere in the high 20s, I would think. Yeah, because like Ottawa or Winnipeg will do 31 every game. Riders last game were about 27. I'd say it's probably just above 20. A couple franchises that'll drive that thing up a little bit more. I'll be interested to see if Calgary fans start to turn out a bit. They've seemed to have a pretty good team again, so we'll see. All right, so I've been refreshing this all day. Last week, the CFL lines were out super early, but there's no Thursday nighter this week. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday games in the CFL this week. So that's probably why we don't have the lines out just yet, but we were going over them late on the morning show today.
Well, we can play.
Yeah. Calgary is in Regina to play the Riders coming off a bye week. Saskatchewan's 4-0. Calgary's 3-1. First place in the West will be on the line here. Winnipeg doesn't play this week. They're on a bye. 3 teams on a bye this week. I can't remember what Maddie said. I think he said about 2.5.
for that.
for the Riders at home against Calgary. What do you think?
Yeah, you'd have to make them the favorite.
They're the home
undefeated.
side. You're going to get like a little field goal bump.
Yeah, Calgary's been that was an impressive win against Winnipeg, but they've also showed a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde as to who they really are.
Yeah. Well, their only loss was in that horrible weather game against Ottawa. Like apparently it was like winter in June in that game a couple of weeks ago. So I almost throw that one out.
Because they looked impressive in their week 1 victory over Hamilton. Like that was they dominated.
Well, and they are the best defense so far in the league this season, statistically. Like they are allowing 20 points per game against. I think it'll probably be Riders 3. They usually say the home team gets a field goal for home field
you
advantage.
Think it's bang on 3?
It might even be a little bit more than 3. Just because if you're looking at these two teams right now, let's say the Riders get 3 for being the home side. Are they half a point or a point better than Calgary straight up anyway? I think it probably opens around Riders 3.
3.5.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Interesting to see where
if it's less than that, if it's less than 3 when it comes out, I'd probably get on the Riders right away because I think that'll move towards like the 3 or more come kickoff time. And then we get Hamilton and Ottawa. Matty today said he thinks Hamilton will be like a 5-point favorite at home against Ottawa, but
yeah, 4.5, 5. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it could be, the 5 number could make sense once again with the 3 points for being at home. Hamilton be
in Ottawa just
to 3-point favorites there.
Lost to the worst team in the CFL.
Yeah, maybe 5's close. 5.5 might be close. And then Edmonton and the Lions. Edmonton will probably be a home dog again, I think.
It got to be.
But by how much? Not more than a field goal, I don't think.
No, I was going to say
2.5.
plus 2.5, plus 3.
That could be...
That'll be an interesting one to see. Because I could see that opening a little higher.
That's the sneakiest line. Like, you think it might open BC -4 type of thing?
Yeah. Like, if it's outside of a field goal... And then you got to look at the money line side too. You know, if it's outside of a field or if it's under a field goal, I generally just go with the money line because if it's going to be that close, you might as well go for the extra 20 points, right?
Just go for that anyway
on your wager.
We'll get to the Blue Jays. They've been red hot. If you've been betting the Jays, it'll be good. Duck Dad says Riders -1.5, Ticats -5.5, and Lions -4.5. Are my guesses. See if that Lions Elks line opens at 4.5, I would suggest you smash the Elks plus the 4.5 because that line will move. I think BC, like Nathan Rourke is good. BC's defense very much concerns me. So I think Edmonton's. It sounds crazy to say, but I think Edmonton's defense is just as talented. It's probably more talented technically than BC's defense, and maybe they've got some momentum going now. RC and Ladner today texting and says, hey guys, any update regarding Devontae Dedmon from last night? I have not seen anything today, and I didn't reach out to anybody in Ottawa. So somebody on Edmonton, I probably would have been able to get you the update, but he got his leg rolled up on pretty good on a tackle by DK Bonham, who cramped up a little bit later on in the game. And then, but he's a phenomenal returner, and then the very next return, Pimpleton takes it 97 yards back to the house. So
you think you're out of the woods, and then that happens.
Just like that.
I just was looking at that in real time, and to not have an ambulance out there, to not have an air cast on that player's foot or ankle or whatever got rolled up right away suggests that I don't think anything was snapped.
You're saying there was nothing sticking out.
Yeah. If anything, that could be just a really bad high ankle sprain.
That's a weird thing to say. Like, there was nothing sticking out.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, man, on the replay when they showed it, I don't know how much of that you can catch as you're doing your broadcast duties, but they showed it from the angle that you would see that thing looking a little wavy if it was in fact snapped. We've all seen that. But it didn't, and he appeared to be in pain, but the fact that they didn't have an ambulance on the field and the fact that there was no air cast.
Yeah.
Would suggest it's nothing broken. To me, anyways.
Duck Dad says, what I'm hearing here is take the over in the Lions and Elks game. I was just looking back here. Edmonton so far this year was under. The number was 50.5 against BC in that first game. They finished under 31-14. But I think Edmonton's offense has gotten better by then. Their defense, I think, has probably improved a bit since then as well. Montreal, Edmonton, 48.5. That one smashed the over. Winnipeg, Edmonton, 51.5. That finished at 59, smashed the over. And then this game smashed the over. So I would probably be on the over again as well. Which is fun. I mean, it's nice to cover a team where you get to bet the over.
Life's too short
and a
to
league,
take the under.
and a league where you get to bet the over.
Yeah.
I would just smash
It's more
overs
fun.
every week in the Canadian
That would be an
Football
interesting case study. Maybe we should do it next year. Or just start right
Just
now.
do the overs every
Let's
week.
just bet the overs every week.
Well,
Put a pool
B-Man's over in the chat says CFL games averaged 63 points per game last week.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's fun stuff. It's, I saw a tweet. It was from an American guy, and the game was on CBS Sports down south yesterday. And some guy tweeted, he goes, the CFL is incredible. He goes, they don't market well enough, but American fans should stop worrying about watching the UFL and things like that and just buy into watching the Canadian Football League as their like spring summer league until NFL starts again. And they're right.
They are.
I mean, I haven't watched a lot of UFL games or any of these other spring league games that come up, but there's no way they can be as exciting as what the Canadian Football League is doing. We've now had what is it? 8 return TDs.
It's incredible.
There's 4 this weekend. So, yeah, I mean, they're highly entertaining, high scoring games.
Well, in last night's game, I mean, there's 3 minutes left, and you don't know who's going to win. You think you have an idea, but if bang, bang, things happen and Ottawa gets a bounce here or, because Edmonton's offense was good. I would say it wasn't great. And it's interesting. I said last night, I sent out a tweet after the show and I said, they ran the damn ball quite well.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it was, but somebody made a comment and I want to hear your take on it because his suggestion was that, well, they didn't really run it that well. Justin Rankin just sprung for a 74-yard touchdown.
I mean, that was a big one because I think his first 5 carries only had 10 yards.
My rebuttal to that, Dusty, would be to say the reason that he was sprung for that run is because you kept running the ball. Right? That's a mindset. That's an offensive mindset. Every offensive coordinator is looking for that seam, that cutback seam, where they ran a beautiful trap. I broke it down on the post-game show. That thing was
McSimic. The Rankin TD?
Yeah. McSimic knew the blitz was coming. That's when you want to have misdirection from your offensive line and have them guessing, and it opens up that cutback seam where all you got to do is beat one guy and you're off to the races. Yeah. So that you cannot discount that. You cannot say, well, they didn't run the ball well aside from this. I'm sorry, but that is included in your running game, and that was a design play knowing that BC was on an all-out run blitz on that play. Very well called by McSimic. Like, I stood up, I was clapping. I'm like, that's a play call. That took some balls.
Let me ask you about the one drive where they had misdirection a couple of times and ended with the touchdown.
4 plays in a row.
I heard you guys, you're talking post-game last night. I was driving home, and I don't know if you brought it up or if I was thinking it, but how often can you go back to that type of thing? Like, so it worked on that drive. They just simply, Ottawa couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
So can you come out 2 drives later, 2 possessions later, and do that again?
You can sprinkle it in at points, but I'll tell you that was a reverse for a first down. That was a screen for a first down. That was a misdirection fullback screen in the flat, first down. And then that inside slot back screen to Curly Gittins Jr. for the touchdown. 4 plays in a row that were misdirection that turned into first downs and turned into a touchdown. You can't come back and do that every series, but yes. And that was one of my gripes is that we didn't see any of those plays after the first quarter. That was gone from the playbook. And I think that's part of what you're going to see with Jordan McSimic and his growth as an OC of this team is to go back to that well later in the game. Not necessarily in that fashion or in that form.
Yeah.
But yeah, that fullback, like they ran 2 screens on that play, Dusty.
Yeah.
On that drive, they ran 2 screens. I think I saw one more the rest of the game.
Yeah, they totally went away from it. I was like, man, it works so well. Why did you
You can absolutely go back to answer your question. You can absolutely go back to that and have BC or whatever defense you're up against prove to you that they can stop it. Why not? It worked pretty damn well.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. A couple of specials already up on our ESD specials page. The early bird bet today, Blue Jays to win by 2 runs or more and Barger to get a hit. That's plus 173. And then Dusty's play of the day, Toronto Blue Jays, 5+ runs on the team total. So that's over 4.5 runs for the Blue Jays today. Slightly chalky at minus 127, but also highly doable. And I see over in the chat, love Dusty's play of the day on Play Alberta. Jays crushed that over easy in my opinion. So yeah, that's one that you're going to want to get on. Here's what I would suggest with the Blue Jays right now. Throw the Blue Jays money line into any sort of, with anything else. You know, like any other bet you sort of like for the day, throw the Blue Jays money line in there. Get yourself some more value on it. They've been on an absolute tear right now. They've got 6 games on the road against weaker competition. So just pump up your parlays or let's I don't know. Let's say you like another baseball game tonight, or the lines come out and you look at a CFL game on Friday night that you like. Just throw the Jays money line in there right now. Like, all week long. Just throw the Jays money line in there and bump up some of these numbers. I don't think that's a bad idea right now. So,
I don't mind. You say that's a chalky bet at minus
127 is fine.
But Dusty, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting back $6.
I'll usually do anything like minus 140-ish.
I rolled out a minus 422 last week or 2 weeks ago on 3 Duke players.
Oh,
in
the
top
Duke guys.
10.
Yeah. Hey, it's super chalky, but you know it's going to hit, even if it was a little tight. It was a little tight there with Malawak going in the
wasn't it
in the 10th spot. So yeah, the Blue Jays been absolutely red hot so far. Trylan over in the Trylan, I believe, says Trey Ford also scrambled much more effectively, and there's a healthy mix of sweep, misdirection, outside runs, and inside runs to keep the defense guessing, which opened up these holes on the inside of the line as well. Or do you like how much Trey is running right now? It's not too much. I know that.
Yes.
And they're not really designing anything for him.
It's the right amount.
And he's not keeping it on any RPOs really either.
Yeah.
Like he's moving the ball.
I would keep that in your holster as long as you can, because you know he's capable of it. The question is the scrambles, is that going to catch up with him one time? Which happened last year against BC when he was injured. But the designed, and Dusty, you got to look at this and appreciate it. A lot of his passes last night were from the pocket, right in the pocket. Whereas, you thought maybe you'd have to get him outside, get him moving, and try and, allow him to use his legs that way. But he was throwing the ball well in the pocket.
Yeah, he was. A lot of it's still to the outsides. But, I mean, the Javon Leake one was deep right over the middle.
How did he catch that?
I mean, it should have been broken up by Fry, who came flying through, and it went right through his arms into the basket for Leake.
I took a picture of this, but you saw that Trey Ford had a perfect QB
I saved it. I think I liked it on Twitter last night.
88.2 completion percentage was a new career high for Trey Ford.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect QB rating of 158.3 for the second time in his career. 15-17, 222, 2 TDs, 88.2%. And that 158.3, I believe, is like the cap. But there's ways to calculate it even higher. And his was much higher than even the perfect QB rating last night.
Right.
So, but they're not asking him to do too much. Like, I think it's been a pretty well-called offense for Trey and his capabilities so far under Max Simic.
I agree. 17 attempts last night.
Yeah.
I mean, Drew Brown had over 30.
He was over 30. Drew Brown throws, since he went to Ottawa, he's attempting 35 to 50 passes on the regular. So that's not overly surprising. Okay, I want to get into this one. There's a conversation on the morning show today. I know they picked it up on the hangout today as well. But let's try to set the odds on a race between Joey Chestnut and Usain Bolt. I don't know if you heard this today. If you were listening on TuneIn or iHeart, you eat a hot dog, and then you run 100 meters. Who's the favorite? What's the number?
Okay, so it was stated that it's hot dog first.
Yes, I believe,
because that's a huge difference. If you if you're asking me, can Joey Chestnut run 100-meter or 100-yard dash and then through the huffing and puffing, because you're going to go as fast as you can, through the huffing and puffing, that's going to throw your ability to eat a hot dog well off. But if it's before, I think it's a great question. Because, and the other thing is Usain Bolt. I mean, I don't know him. Like, that guy's body has been his temple for most of his life. He'd probably be disgusted by eating a hot dog. And if he did, he'd probably have to take 4 bites to get it down. He's not a seasoned hot dog guy like us.
No, well, I think Trev convinced me today.
I heard
that the answer here is probably Joey. He said some guys ran the math on it. They said Joey by about 4 or 5 seconds when it's all said and done.
But the big question here is, like, I'm of the opinion that Joey Chestnut is not an athlete. He's a competitive
he's definitely
eater.
not an athlete. He's a competitive eater.
But, like, we have not seen him run. And I've seen people that I've looked at and I wonder if that guy can run. I see kids that literally can't run. It's hard for them to run. What if Joey Chestnut is one of these crazy, unathletic runners? And he's marking a 20-plus second, 100-yard dash. Because Usain Bolt's not marking a 9.97. Usain Bolt's going to be chalking up a 12, 13 second.
Oh, he'll go faster
dash.
than 12 or 13
I
seconds.
don't think so.
Post hot dog? Definitely. I think Usain Bolt runs 11 in his sleep.
I don't think so. I mean, how long's it been since he's run?
Pierre Montenegro says he is an athlete. He's not an athlete. This is like a poker player.
Yeah, don't tell me that's an athlete. That's a professional poker player.
Yeah, and I give them a ton of credit because it's a grind, but it's not an athlete.
Like, eating hot dogs competitively is, I know it's the gag and it's the Joey Chestnut's the greatest American of all time, blah, blah, blah. He's not an athlete. There's no argument there.
So did Joey Chestnut get interfered with at this year's? I just searched Joey Chestnut, and there was a protester that came on stage, and Chestnut took him down and then went right back to eating. But Joey Chestnut finished one hot dog away from going over.
Over 80?
The total was set at 72 and a half.
72 and a half.
And he finished at 71 and a half, and he finished with 70 and a half, and he was disrupted and had to tackle somebody.
No, that's from...
Is that from
that's
previous?
From protester from last year. There was a protester that came on stage.
A couple years ago then, because he didn't do it last year.
Yeah,
okay, I was just like, wait a second, what's going on here?
Raider Jesse says Bolt can run a 10.5 easy today. Not a chance.
You don't think so?
No!
What?
No! Okay, how old was Usain when he set the world record? He was 22.
Milt Stiegel still runs sub 5.
He's 38 years old now.
Milt's 50-something.
Milt's a different animal.
This is Usain Bolt.
I've seen Usain Bolt recently, and he's not.
What, Usain Bolt let himself go? Come on.
A little bit. I'm not going to.
If I Google Usain Bolt and he has a gut, then you might be onto something, but I just...
Look at his face. Go to his Wikipedia. He's not the Usain Bolt we all remember from setting a world record. That's all I'm saying.
Usain Bolt 2024. I mean, he's not Joey Chestnut.
I know, but I'm just saying you're trying to say that this fella can run remotely close to, and by the way, he's not sprinting every day. He's not training. I mean, maybe if you gave him 6 months ahead of time and said, okay, you got to, but think of the money that would have to be put up for this. Who do you think has a bigger appearance for you, Joey Chestnut or Usain Bolt?
Probably Joey Chestnut.
Probably Joey Chestnut, which is so sad.
All right. So if these guys are saying high schoolers can run 11 seconds with barely any training. Lars says agreed with Dusty. Bolt could do 11 in his sleep. I think taking an extra second off is where a lot of his training would have come. So even if he let himself go, Usain Bolt can still go. We can put him out here on the street right now in front of the building, and we clock him probably 11.
What?
Yes.
I think that's crazy. I mean, hey, if you disagree with me, that's fine. I'm just saying this is 18 years ago that he ran and set a world record, which, by the way, what was that world record? 9.97?
Oh, it was below 997, wasn't it?
958.
Yeah. So he's got a second and a half. That's off his time to still be at 11. Joey Chestnut's doing what? 19, 20? 18, 20?
That's the question. Is none of us have seen Joey Chestnut run.
I think he looks awkward when he walks.
Yes. He looks awkward just standing there.
Yeah, I think Chestnut would be the favorite. I'm probably going to put Joey Chestnut minus 225 to beat Usain Bolt in
Joey
Eat a
gets
Dog.
to use his water and everything? Like, just slide that thing down the gullet? Or is it fair? Eat simple.
You got to eat a hot dog.
Like, same
normally.
Thing. Usain can eat it like a normal hot dog.
And I would say wiener has to stay in the bun.
Wiener in bun.
Yeah.
Traditional.
Yeah, not to take it out. I'm saying
right.
Wiener stays in bun.
That might throw Joey off. I mean, Joey's used to eating water with those buns. That's all water.
I think that changes things a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe not a ton.
You think of the aftermath for Joey Chestnut after these competitions? That's a tough look.
Oh, God, I can't even imagine.
Like, that's just...
I had a Popeye spicy sandwich after the game last night. I can't imagine what he's doing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Bronco Nick says, Joey falls down at the 30-yard mark. Raider Jesse says, you guys are underestimating how fast Bolt can eat a dog. Bolt dips the dog after a Google search. Jason the Acadian says, for safety reasons, they would have to have water available. Duck Dad says, I think Hernan would be a good comparable to see how fast a non-competitive eater can take down a hot dog. Can we set this up on EST afternoons today? Well, and Hernan's a runner.
Hernan's a runner.
Hernan's a runner right now.
He'd be fine.
He'd be the closest thing that we have to getting to the bottom of this.
We should set the line.
I think I would say if Joey comes in as a minus 225 favorite, I would be betting on Bolt as an underdog.
Wow, minus 225. I mean, so it's just simply who wins.
Yeah.
Hot dog, 100-yard dash.
Money, yeah, well, there'd be secondary markets where it's like Joey minus 6.5 seconds on the hot dog.
Right.
And Usain Bolt quicker in the run. There'd be tons of markets for this type of stuff.
What if Usain Bolt just put it in his mouth and started running? Like, do you have to complete the dog? Do you have to,
you would have to go, you'd have to go, and then they said, go.
Okay, because that would be a huge advantage for Usain Bolt. I wonder if anybody's going to make this happen, though.
I'd like to sprinkle plus 15,000 Usain Bolt chokes on hot dog dies.
Hey, Play Alberta, can we get that up, please? Yeah.
Netflix will make it happen. I mean, if they really want to see it, Netflix would make it happen. We keep seeing damn Jake Paul trotted out against a bunch of tomato cans. And, but
it was funny because
this is 2025 television right here.
Even in Jake Paul's fight against Tyson, everybody, is there a chance? Can Tyson surprise him? And then it turned out to be one of the worst.
Turns out Tyson is a 60-year-old hanging on for dear life
who can hardly walk. Yeah.
And then the guy he just fought was in rehab for a while. And had 2 fights in the last 4 years.
Hey, speaking of over-under, what's the over-under on Rami and Koki's for Dusty tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know.
It's going to be hot.
Yeah, I know.
Now,
it's a good question.
That's pretty much your go-to.
Are we talking doubles?
Oh, of course.
Or just, so does the double count as 2? Or is
we'll go ounces. Sure. Because I know you do like the dubs. I'd put it at 10.5.
Hot summer day.
10.5 over under. That would be fun to get on Play Alberta.
That's a good number. I'll say this. That's a good number. It depends on if I get my hands on some finished long drinks.
Yes.
Some
that's
6 o'clockers.
Are you gonna deviate?
Am I gonna have some 2 hoots in the bag or something?
Probably.
I think if we're going start of the day to me leaving the ranch, so I'm including the after, the dinner, couple.
I'm giving you the whole day.
I would take the over 10.5 doubles.
So that's actually 23.
It'd be 24 ounces.
24 ounces. Yeah.
But I sweating most of it out. Probably won't even have a buzz.
Probably not.
Yeah.
You're impressive with the rum and coke.
So I would probably say 10.5.
10.5.
Yeah.
I would smash
if I only, let's say there's no like Fireball or Birdie Booze or any other beverages, I could drink 10.5s doubles, and you wouldn't even be able to know I was drinking.
I know.
I swear to you, especially on a hot day.
I've seen
It'll just be like oozing out of me. Tammy will love it.
Well, she'll be there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She'll be there.
She'll be there with the whole fam jams in town.
It'll be a good crew tomorrow.
Real Nielson reunion.
So I'll fire a message to Play Alberta. I'll put it in the chat we send it to. Can I get boosted Dustin over 10.5 double spice rums and Cokes?
Maybe
tomorrow
I should set it so they don't think I'm involved with it.
Yeah.
Because you know that
I still wouldn't take the under. I'd bet on myself and go over.
To. That would be great.
I'm here for a good time. So yeah, it should be a fun day tomorrow. So tomorrow's programming, we'll have the morning show from 6 until 8, and then everybody's going to be on the golf course after that. So and then we'll be back full day programming on Wednesday, recapping the golf tournament.
Maybe you'll end up at the River Cree Resort and Casino at the roulette table with your brother-in-law again.
Well, yeah, last year there was a soccer match that took us there.
Yes.
This year we might just have to go anyway.
Just to keep it going.
Yeah, the lobby bar with Tommy sitting over there bawling his eyes out. That should be a good time. Somebody, I don't know, the text of the day today was like,
I heard that.
Did you hear that one? That was so good.
Say it again.
Who? Where is it here? I saved it.
It's Big Maple. Right?
It was Big Maple. And where is it here? Where is it? Yeah, who would win in a race between Usain Bolt and X-Ray J if they had to drink enough to naturally piss themselves and then run 100 meters? I could wrap up every single show with that today. That's just too funny. All right, that is going to do it. Good stuff, Jay. Are you back in later in the week on Lock Shop?
Yeah,
I know Monic's going to be here for a bit. Okay, so Thursday?
Thursday.
Okay, all right, so there we go. So I have Maddie and Jay with me in on the Lock Shop this week with Huss off catching fish. I just don't see Huss as a guy who like catches fish.
Oh, what?
Like I don't think Huss eats anything that doesn't come from 7-Eleven.
I could see Huss just with his feet dangling off the edge of the boat.
Yeah, but I don't think he catches the fish. I think he likes the idea of sitting there.
Have a pack of like Ritz or Cheez-Its.
Ritz crackers.
just kind of nibbling and ho-humming his way through the day.
That's too funny.
His grocery selection from 7-Eleven.
All right, we got the oil stream coming up next. That's going to do it for the Lock Shop, of course, presented to you by Play Alberta. Myself and Tommy locking in on some early July Oilers discussion. Coming up next, then into EST afternoons. What's on your guys' show? Who'd you say you had today?
We have Jordan Baker, head coach and GM of the Edmonton Stingers.
They're rolling.
They're on a little bit of a 5-game heater, so we're going to talk with him. And then we have Justin Rankin coming up later in the show. We're going to ask him, how tiring is it after you rip off those large runs?
He wasn't even breathing heavy after this. Suits was stunned.
Yeah.
He was just like, I'm so furious right now. Like Rank was just like,
yeah. It made it look like he does it every day.
Faster than Joey Chestnut.
Probably as fast as Usain Bolt.
Yeah, well, maybe now.
Maybe now.
You know, Rankin versus
Let's throw
Bolt
Rankin
right
into
now.
the mix.
Rankin, probably.
This Bolt thing.
18 years after setting the record faster than Justin Rankin, who's a prime athlete right now? I said he could throw under 11. Bolt couldn't go under 10 right now with no training, man. You don't just step out of your bed and run sub 10. Well, we'll have to get to the bottom of it, I guess. All right, the oil stream is coming up next. Fun Lock Shop today. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, we'll have the oil stream in less than 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Thank you very much for riding with us today. Throw the Blue Jays into any other bet you were making today and reap the benefits of hopefully another victory tonight for the Jays. Take it easy.